Hopefully you can hear me. Here I am coming to you with a microphone because, heaven forbid, people have normal jobs. There's a lot of drilling in the background. This is a residential area, sir. Your drilling is interfering with my bed rotting. It's a passion project. I don't particularly like autumn, and people always say that autumn's a great time for fashion as well. I actually find it incredibly hard because you're starting to think, what else do I put on? When it comes to summer, yes, you have less options. However, you just have to take something that you're already wearing off, and that's a much easier decision than deciding what you want to put on. And it's just all too much for me, and I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. I'm definitely a warm weather organism. I survive off Diet Coke and ultraviolet radiation. This beginning of it getting darker in the evenings and cloudy and horrible, it's not really my vibe, and I don't particularly enjoy it. I know it's a great time to start buying new stationery, starting a new diary, start of the academic year, back to school. I couldn't think of anything worse. I'll show you what I was going to title this video. I thought it was a bit too pessimistic, but if you're a friend of the channel, you will know that I'm the biggest pessimist in the world. In terms of search engine optimization, maybe this was not a great business decision. I'm not particularly sure what we'll call this video, but we won't call it that. The update is not just regularly depressed, also seasonally depressed. When the high heavens thought that wasn't enough, they also killed my nan. And also yesterday, I came downstairs and was putting out the rubbish, and my cat, she was dribbling from her eyes, and I thought that was rather alarming. I had to cotton wool ball her eyes, which is quite sad and traumatizing, but she's okay now. Don't know if I ever will be. You know what I like to do on a Saturday evening? Wait for the alarm I set for 8:15 for the eBay auction that goes off at 8:30. That gives me 15 minutes to eat soup and watch a countdown go down. And that's how I spend my Saturday evenings. And I didn't win.
Oh. That's it, I'm not going.
The following are some of my September favourites, October favourites. By now. The following are some of my autumn favourites. First, I want to talk about some brands. Sarah Puccini. I'm really liking it, like a vintage Paloma wool. I'm thoroughly enjoying sheer knitwear. I don't particularly like the sheer material that's just crap they couldn't be bothered to line. I wanted to be intentionally sheer, but made out of a nice merino wool. Then I found Sarah Puccini. I thought my next fashion endeavour would be to buy skirt top pant, or rather, I wanted a light, open knit merino wool skirt to put over top of some trousers. Really rather chic. I do of course enjoy Paloma wool, but it's just really rather expensive. Another one similar to Paloma wool is Gamagwas, a newer brand even than Paloma wool, and they do have some really gorgeous stuff. Absolutely adore them. Jewellery. I am a big fan of rings. I have found lots of rings that I'm thoroughly enjoying. It is the only part of my vernacular where the word maximalism may be appropriate. I love rings. I'm particularly invested in Torin rings. Absolutely gorgeous vintage rings. Really rather dramatic, actually. I'm not really sure how practical they are. Where's the fun in fashion if it's simply practical? And I'm sure I'd give a really rather nasty left hook. In general, any silver chunky ring I'm really enjoying. All rather on the expensive side. You know what? That's motivation. That's motivation to grind and hustle. Anyway, okay, next. Circling back to my previous material, Vibram 5 Fingers, I have noticed something really quite extraordinary in the Vibram 5 Fingers community. They are trending downwards. That is a win for us who genuinely love the form, the silhouette, the comfort of a 5 finger. The girls have realised that actually they are in fact very incredibly ugly, and they're getting rid of them. Or rather, the number of people they appeal to has been saturated, and as such, they are in a decline of new searches, as told to me by Google Trends. As I say, for me that is a win. Of course, I never stopped wearing my Vibram 5 Fingers, and I will always love them. It just brings me great joy to see that maybe they will revert back to being a hallmark of a fashion icon. For the fashion literate, you may have heard of the term chiconomics. One of the principles of chiconomics is that fashion will get more extreme. As a predecessor becomes more trendy, people get used to it, and what they do is they try and find something more extreme to replace it. It's not just something different. We're looking within the same pool of subjects here. Once we get bored with one thing, we have to go even further. We have seen this with the Vibram 5 Fingers. We had tabbies, and the rise of tabbies saturated them. People moved on to Vibram 5 five fingers. We have now saturated them as shown by the peak, and we are now on the decline, and as such we have to find something more extreme. We have found curtsy toes, and I really rather quite like them. In general, I think there's quite a rise of toe infatuation. Socks that emphasize toes, shoes that emphasize toes. Anything with an open toe, generally not for me. However, I appreciate the beauty of a well-groomed toe, and as such, I do actually really rather like these curtsy toes. I mentioned that I was sitting on an eBay listing. I was sitting on an eBay listing for a pair of Levi engineered jeans. I put in an original bid, £18 or something, and I was like, yeah, £18, it's just a pair of jeans. It's just a pair of jeans. Don't know what the fuss is about. Nonchalant, as the internet may say. I set my alarm for a couple of days later, 15 minutes before the auction ended. To my surprise, I was sitting there very incredibly anxious at 15 minutes to go because we were up to £60. I lost basically. But the thing is I know that they go for a lot more. Everyone has seen No Girl and their Levi's engineered jeans. Even on Depop and Vintage, they go for hundreds of pounds. So £60, bargain. I just couldn't do it. Now I regret it. Actually, on the topic of No Girl, I have a bone to pick. So I embarked on some investigative journalism. I infiltrated the No Girl universe. Knowing that I was not going to purchase anything, I subscribed to No Girl's most recent vintage drop. No Girl, if you haven't heard of them, are a vintage curated brand. They sell things like Levi's engineered jeans, but they also sell a lot of other top fashion houses, high fashion, vintage fashion, and a lot of their clothing is absolutely gorgeous. And actually I do take a lot of inspiration from the way they style their models and the pieces that they're using. What they've started doing to widen their reach, they've started an online shop that comes in drops that are open worldwide. On these drops, they put stuff like vintage tees, Levi's engineered jeans, and to be honest, that's about it. I infiltrated knowing that I wasn't going to buy anything because I just knew that everything would be so expensive. And the thing with No Girl is that they don't put their prices up front. You are required to have a password to enter a password protected site where you can access what their current vintage drop is. And I did that for you. To expose the vintage curated world. And I was shocked. Friends of the channel, you will have heard of me raving about Hanes. In fact, this is my Hanes t-shirt. I love a Hanes t-shirt. This one I got for £5. It's a Christmas t-shirt. I absolutely adore it. It's my favourite t-shirt ever. So yes, I can see why vintage curated shops would want to share them with the world. However, the stock that No Girl had chosen was abysmal. These were Hanes or Hanes equivalents. I like to call them merch t-shirts because they're not a specific brand. An independent brand will make their own t-shirts. It'll be someone's grandmother's birthday or something like that, and they'll make personalised t-shirts for everyone, and it'll be printed on a Hanes t-shirt or some of the equivalent brands. Hanes, Gildan, Screen Stars, things like that. The one that I'm currently wearing is a Hanes beefy top, 100% cotton, and I absolutely adore it. What I found on No Girl's website were damaged t-shirts. They were stained, they had holes, they were 50% polyester. They were being sold for between what I could see. So actually I turned up late. I was terribly busy watching a YouTube video or something. I turned up 2 hours late and there were only about 3 things left on their drop of about 20 items or something. And they were all graphic tees. They were priced between 60 and 90 euros. I was looking at the stock and these 60 to 90 euro t-shirts, they were just being branded as 1980s graphic tee, and somehow that justified the price tag, I guess. The thing that's happening here is No Girl are aware of their cult-like follower base. Commendations to them because they do have an incredibly strong brand, evidenced so by the fact that they can sell Hanes t-shirts for 90 euros. These are not t-shirts. These are for lining the cat basket with for 90 euros. And it's a disgrace. Not only am I disappointed in them, I'm disappointed in you for buying it. I don't think I have anything more to say. Is money really worth that little that you can't spend 5 minutes looking a little harder on Vinted for a Hanes t-shirt than signing up for a password-protected site by a vintage curated shop? Some people have different priorities. Lord, may I marry someone rich enough to spend 90 euros on a Hanes t-shirt? Is all I can say. Okay. Final thing I want to talk to you about. I've been obsessed with glasses recently. I am not wearing my rimless glasses simply because I feel sad. These are a bit of a comfort blanket, and actually now I'm wearing them, I'm thinking, I just belong in these. I am going to try a whole load of glasses until I find one that I feel like I belong in. Unfortunately, I feel like I belong in these more than I belong in my rimless glasses. Do tell me, actually, which ones you prefer. Maybe I'm just used to them. That's another thing with September resets. People like to turn over new leaves. People like beginning again. It's a new start. It's a fresh start. I like routine. Instead of starting something new, I think we should all just stay the same, because I like knowing exactly what I'm doing. But not only do I like to know exactly what I'm doing, I like to know exactly what everyone else is doing. Anyway, I've been looking at glasses. I've been looking at a whole range of different glasses, but particularly I am looking at wired glasses. I've been looking at different shapes of glasses, rectangle ones, oval ones, big Christian Dior type ones. All of them I quite like have a wire frame. I've had these for so long, and yes, of course, I like them. I like them. I mean, I reverted back to them. I like them so much. I just think they're really rather harsh. The frame is quite harsh, but maybe that is what I like. What I plan on doing is buying some vintage frames off of eBay and then getting them reglazed, rather than brand new where I have to buy something trendy and getting them glazed by the shop the frames are being sold by. Because that's what I did with my rimless glasses, and I found that the shape of them is a bit too trendy for me. They're a bit too big. She says wearing... I think I just wanted them slightly less wide, slightly smaller. The trend is to have really wide glasses that come out quite far out of your face. I plan on trying to find some wide glasses, some nice little skinny wide glasses. And that's what I have for today. I really hope you enjoyed that. I need to just start shit posting, as the children may say, when I try and film a new video and it's been like 3 weeks. I'm terrified, stage fright, and we can't be dealing with that. So I'm just going to start shit posting and watch it, please. Bye.
Oh. Ah. That's it, I'm not going.